Hey! So, it comes down to, I think, 4 groups of things. We got the conference business. This is the first thing, which is VidCon and NerdCon stories so far. Maybe other NerdCons in the future. I like conference, the production company. So the company that makes content, that's mostly SciShow and Crash Course, but it's also, we work on sexplanations and the financial diet and how to adult and healthcare triage and mental floss, and I'm definitely forgetting some. DFTBA, which is a merchandising company that helps creators sell things to their fans and create products that people can be proud of and that people will want, and helping them help people make a living doing what they like to do. And then we have my life, which is, so let's say this. We're talking about my professional life, where I'm thinking about content creation from my perspective, squeezing balls. I thought it was going to be better to say balls than what it might look like, but stress balls, like I'm stressed out. Squeeze. Oh, this is going poorly already. So, VidCon. It's coming up very soon, which means that it's more stressful than usual. VidCon has become less stressful for me over the years, which I'm extremely grateful for. And that is due to a combination of the team that runs VidCon being really good at what they do, being really grateful that they get to do a cool thing, and just having more experience with it, and me having more experience letting go and trusting them, not just because they are good, but because it is a hard thing to do when you are a creative person, to let someone else be in charge of your creative thing. Now, there are less creative parts of VidCon, but I also have to let go of some of the content parts. I just cannot be in charge of everything, and I'm much more comfortable now letting people take those creative things on, and also the non-creative things where I know I'm not in charge, so I don't know what could be going wrong at any moment. Letting that go had to be a process. It was never going to be something that was going to happen all at once, and so it's taken many years for me to get more comfortable with that. But VidCon is taking up less of my time now than it used to by a pretty wide margin. I still think a lot about creator content, but I have a lot of great help for the content in the community area and the content in the industry area, and a lot of great help for guest management and logistics and staging and decoration, and it's just a big thing, and it's going well. There are always going to be problems. We're dealing with a problem right now. It's too bad stressing everybody out, but you don't want to know what it is. But yeah, it's that's always going to be the case. But VidCon is stressing me out less now than it has in a long time, which is very good. NerdCon is very exciting, and I want to do more NerdCon type things. I can't tell you what they might be yet because we're not sure yet, and I want to be sure first. The production company is also great. There are things that could be going better. SciShow and Crash Course are very strong, and that's largely due to Patreon, but also due to the fact that we just get lots of views. They're apparently, I don't know, well designed for the current state of YouTube. They get on the trending pages a lot, and Crash Course in particular thrives a lot sort of on its own merit, where people are looking for the content and they watch it when they need to learn things or when they want to learn things, and that's really great. And that, I think, might mean that Crash Course will continue to get views. Even if we stopped making content right now, it would continue to get lots of views for a long time. We're not going to do that. And I think the big problem we have with Crash Course is that it's so, it's really successful and it's respected, and it has the ability to do lots of things right now, to be lots of different things, and we have to pick which thing it should be. Should it be what it is now, or should we think about how to leverage what we've built into a larger educational media company, and leverage the relationships that we've built? And that's a hard thing to know, You're just never gonna know for sure the 100% right way to do something, and But like, I think that we need to define a shape and a vision so that we're not just sort of reacting to external stimuli. There's some kind of internal force. SciShow is the same way, except that I have a lot more idea of what I want it to be. I want it to be what it is, but I'd like to branch off into some other topics. And I would also like to focus on how to use the energy that we have around SciShow to sort of help more effectively grow a community around interest in science. And I think that we will probably be fairly effective at that once we start. We have to move into our new office before we can implement some new ideas I have. Mostly a sort of a sit-downy talk show podcast, which I think that will let people get to know the hosts more and the team that runs it more, and I think that'll be really fun. And then we have all of our other things, that are at varying levels of success and things that like I thought would do super well that haven't done super well. It's frustrating. Like, online video is you never know how things are going to go, and it's very hard to make enough money to have a show with a real budget. And yeah, that's just a real uphill battle. I thought Serial Time was going to take off a lot stronger than it has. You might not even know what Serial Time is, but it's a morning show hosted by Charlie McDonnell and Jimmy Hill. And it's great. I like it a lot, but it doesn't have a ton of views, and it's more expensive than our average thing to produce. And what we see a lot of the time is the stuff that does best are the things that we can produce really inexpensively. And by does best, I don't mean like it gets more views. I mean, it has a shorter path to sustainability. So you control, instead of like trying to control how much money you're going to make, you control how much money you spend. And that's healthcare triage, that's explanations, that's financial diet, Animal Wonders. These are shows where we have a producer and a host, and they work together, and it's part-time for the producer, and the host is getting paid in equity, like they own the show. So if the show makes money, then they get paid, and that keeps our costs very low, and it means that we can help, and hopefully, and obviously no one would do it if they weren't getting a good deal out of it, but hopefully that means that people are getting good traction and good experience, and potentially the thing will grow and become a full-time job, as it has for some people, but hasn't for others. I'd really like to see the financial diet hitting it out of the park with their content more often. When I watch it, I think this is exactly what it should be, and the views aren't bad or anything. It's getting good views, but I just feel like I watch sometimes and I'm like, this should have 1 million views, and it has 10,000. And it's a great title, it's a great idea, it's great execution, but it's a hard business to be in. But of course, no one is, that show doesn't lose us money still, though, because the producer that's working on that is also working on other shows, and those shows pay for that producer, and we're investing in hoping that financial diet pays off, and I think that it will. It's just going to take time. So all of those things, like doing these smaller shows, is really exciting to me. I keep stepping on a crinkly thing, and I want to do it more. It's just it drives home how hard it is to make this stuff work. And it really is not about it's about the financial models not being there, and the way that they are in TV. And I think that it'll get better with time, but it will never get to where TV is right now. And that's always going to be a struggle. And I think that the innovation that makes our business work is really going to have to be a cost-saving innovation rather than, it's both. But I think that it has to focus on how do you make content that's really good with significantly less money than, the traditional media would spend on it. But that looks professional and is really high quality content. So, I think most of my time spent in thinking about business is spent thinking about online video and production and the production company, and that's where that's where I'm at. So Vlogbrothers is part of that, but I don't think of it as part of that. I think of it as part of my personal creative stuff. And then, so we'll get to that. But then there's DFTBA, which is our merchandise company, and it's going very well. It's going well. We sell for Rhett and Link, and Rhett and Link over the last 3 years have just gotten massive, and so we, like DFTBA has had to grow really fast to keep up with demand for their stuff, which is fantastic. I continue to have good ideas for how to do different good things, creating good products and doing our best not to make stuff that has ethical problems. So make sure that we're making our things and factories that treat their workers well and stuff like that. So that's something that we've been thinking a lot about how to guarantee that, which is very hard because especially if you're having stuff made outside of the U.S., because there isn't a lot of infrastructure for the creation of these things in the U.S., then you have to track down your supply chain, and that's all stuff that you can do, but it is not, it's not like going down the street and seeing the t-shirt shop, which I can do for where the t-shirts are printed, but not where the t-shirts are manufactured. So, that's something that we think about and are, working to make sure that we have great suppliers. Other than that, we try to continue to add people to the company to sell their stuff, because we want to grow that and keep helping people provide good products for their fans. And then we have my personal things, and right now that includes any project that is unlaunched. I think of those as personal projects until they start existing and are running, and we have people running them. And so those are a lot of things that I can't talk about because I don't know if they're going to launch or not, and I don't like talking about things that might not happen. But I will talk about things that might not happen when it comes to my book, because the only reason my book might not happen is if I don't do it. So there's no broader context. There's no if the situation changes. Books have been around a long time. Nothing weird is going to happen. It's up to me. And that's not always the case with a project. Sometimes you get halfway down the road in a project and you realize that the economic situation wasn't what you thought it was, or that hiring this one person that you need to make the idea work is much more expensive than you thought it was going to be, or that person just doesn't exist. And so, ideas that get, a little bit of investment stop happening, and then you don't want to explain to everybody why it didn't happen. Or just let it sort of sit there and be like, oh, whatever happened to that idea, which we've done several times. So yeah, the book is going well. It stresses me out. It is a source of stress because there are often days where I will say, I'm gonna write for an hour or two today. I've got enough time. There's plenty, I can do that. I have time to do that. And then I won't. And then I will feel like a slob. Like I have failed myself and everyone. And I don't like that feeling. But at the same time, when I do sit down, I'm pretty good at continuing the story, and I know where it's headed. I think that I need to rearrange some stuff right now to make it could sort of provide the tension necessary for it to get where it's going, that sort of energy to blast through difficultness that the characters experience. And it is a very unique challenge, and it's so much. It's so hard, it's so interesting to do big things like that that take a long time and that you don't get feedback on. And I put it up on Patreon for a little while, and so that was good feedback and was nice to give me energy to keep doing it. I stopped doing that because I realized that in order to keep telling the story, I was going to have to change stuff that happened earlier in the story, because I wasn't done when I started putting it on Patreon. And when you have to change stuff earlier, then it gets confusing for the people on Patreon to be like, so that thing that happened didn't happen, and this other thing happened instead. Anyway, I have to do a significant amount of reforming the storyline. So instead of going here, they go there, and they don't, and then they stay and don't go to this other place. And figuring that out is not fun. It's not it's not as creative. It's just sort of practical pushing words around. So that's where I'm at right now, and I think that I will, once I get that done and get it to a place sort of a, it won't be done, but I'm going to send it to someone in the publishing world, and they will tell me whether or not they would like to publish it. The thing about being me is that somebody will publish it, but the problem is that I want someone who isn't gonna just publish it because I'm a YouTuber. I want someone who will tell me if it's bad and where it's bad, because it's gonna be bad somewhere, and you know, help me get it into a novel that I think, you know, it's always that thing, like, you don't want to be doing something, you don't want to just like be sort of writing on being John Green's brother or being a YouTuber. Like, I want this thing to be good, and that's, yeah, there's always that piece of in my mind saying, like, well, this wouldn't happen if you weren't who you are, if you hadn't, like, I don't have all these other things. So, like, I'm trying to be, like, I feel extra skeptical of everything people, like, nice things people say about it. So, and I'm trying to find people who aren't just sort of like the schmoozy folk who are like, yeah, I'll get you a book deal, but who care and have done this before, and that John trusts. And so that's where I'm at with that. Wizard School's going really well. We just finished the rule book. Finished. The art is almost done. It's probably going to deliver a little late, and it's looking more and more like that's a for sure thing, so I should probably write a Kickstarter update about it. But I hate that. I hate it so much to deliver late things, but a little late, like July instead of June. And that is 100% because of playtest. So making sure the game is balanced. It's a pretty complicated game in terms of balance, and it's not about like someone not doing their job well or fast enough. It's just like, we want to do this well and not release a game before it's done. But the art looks fantastic, and the game looks fantastic, and the rules are at a place where I feel like they're really understandable and readable, and that's sort of my job, part of my job. Obviously, Eric wrote vast majority of the rules, but my job is to make sure that they're efficient and understandable. Yeah. So, and Karen's just done an amazing job with the art. It's going to be the most beautiful thing. I'm so excited about it. So, that's not everything. It's a lot of the things. There's always other stuff going on. I've got a couple of, I'd say 2 fairly big projects that I don't want to talk about yet. Maybe 3 if you count a conference idea. And I think that one of them is going to be announced at VidCon, and the other one we're waiting on to see what kind of partners we can get or should get. Because, I think we could definitely do it by ourselves, but it would be really nice because it's complicated in an existing industry if we had help from people who have experience in that industry. So, and I say we because I'm doing that one with John and some other people. So, yeah, that's what's going on. That's the video. It was long. Thanks for sitting here with me. I'm thirsty now, and I want a drink because I've been talking forever. Thanks. Oh, and I'm going on tour. I've been spending a lot of time planning the tour show because, you want to add a little bit of spice to every event. And so I just want it to be a good time. And the other bands do such a good job of that I want our band to do a good job of it and have it be really fun. And it's always really fun, but I want to add a couple of surprises, So come join if you would like, if you're going to be in Texas or Arizona or California or Lawrence, Kansas. And when I say Arizona, I mean Tucson and nowhere else. And when I say California, I mean nowhere north of Los Angeles. No, San Francisco. Which way is it? Yeah. Okay, that's all. Sorry I'm not going to the Pacific Northwest. I know that you want me there, but I had really good reasons why I couldn't, I promise. Yeah, that's all. Thanks. Woo! How long is this video? I don't even know. Am I recording? Yes, good, that's good. That would have been embarrassing.